My name is Emmanuel Olika Chinazo. I am actually here to give my testimony of how I was healed and by the special grace of God, how I received my healing. And it's a very long story. It's a very long story, but I will try to make it very brief. As at 2013, middle of 2013, I think around June, July, I started noticing a little bump on my neck here, just like a very tiny bump, you know. And I just thought maybe it's a minor something, 2 days, 3 days, 1 week, the bump was still there. I had to visit the pharmacy, you know. I got medications which I took. After 2 weeks, it was still there, and there was no changes. Kept on going, and I had to now go to I had to visit the hospital. That was after a month. The growth was becoming massive. It was growing at a very speedy rate. So when I went to the hospital, they started doing the investigations. I went to a private hospital in Enugu here. They started doing the investigations. By then, day by day, the mass was already getting big. It was as big as this. So after visiting the hospital, they said I was going to go for a surgery at that 2013. So I did my first surgery in a private hospital here in Enugu. And after that surgery, barely less than 3 months, it started growing back again. Even after the surgery, it started growing back. And as at the fifth, sixth month, it became bigger than the way it was before the surgery. I still went to another hospital again. I went to a teaching hospital in Enugu, and they started the investigations again. And what they called it was the left submandibular cystic mass. That was the name they called it. So they said I was going to go for another surgery again, that I should have come there earlier. So I went for they prepared me for the surgery. And after the successful surgery, I was discharged. They said they were going to do a biopsy, which it was done. And I was discharged. I went home. Not more than 2, 3 months again, it started growing again. And at this point, I don't know, I didn't even know how I felt because I thought it was all done. It has gone for forever. It started growing back as at that fifth month. Now it became um, bigger than the way it was after the first surgery. So at some point, I just gave up because they said I was going to go for a third surgery. I just had to give up. So I started working. I got a job at First Bank M&A. I had to use it and start work. I started working that way. And then at some point, I stopped feeling as if something was there, because it became like a burden to me since I've done the first and second surgery and it did not go. It became like a part of me, you know. So I started working at First Bank M&A. And luckily for me, as God may have it, I met one of my RMs then, Madam Angela. And then she talked to me about following her to somewhere in M&A. The first time she told me that, I felt very reluctant. After all, I've done all sorts of treatment. I've taken all sorts of supplements, all kind of products. I've done them, and it did not work. So when she told me about following her to somewhere in M&A, I was very reluctant. So at some point, she kept on telling me, because I had to speak with my family, my mom and my siblings. So they said, let us try it out. Then on a Sunday, I visited Eken and Natures then, now it's Trust Global. I visited on a Sunday. And when I came that Sunday, I sat down, there were other people with different kind of diseases, sicknesses. So me, I sat down while waiting to be attended to. And then somebody that day was even giving a testimony. I was just looking at the person like, this one, you are already giving testimony. It was just like a movie to me because I've done all kinds of treatments, and at some point I lost hope. So I just looked at the guy. I was like, okay, so if this is where it's going to end, I tap into the testimony, and then I started my own treatment. That was at 2017. The bomb started 2013. I did my first surgery 2014. It came back again. I did second surgery 2015. It came back. So, and while I was taking the medications, I was still working. First month went by, I was working, no, nothing happened to me. Second month, third month. It was at the third month, my colleagues at the office were saying, Emmanuel, your growth, the thing on your neck is going down. Me, I did not see it. I'll go to the mirror. It was as if I'm not seeing anything. It was just today. Then as at the fifth month, I started touching it. What was very thick, like a ball, started becoming soft. Huh. I was really surprised though. And then if I touch it, it's no longer